Hello, I'm back on trail after a couple of days in Ashland. It's day 120 something. And I ended up taking a 0 in Ashland. I had not originally intended to, but it just took me too long to get all my chores done. You might think that town is just like an incredibly relaxing experience, and I mean sometimes, but sometimes it's really not, because you get to town and maybe all you want to do is lay around, but you have stuff you have to do, like laundry and go shopping. You might have to go to the post office, and if town is kind of big, that's a lot of running around town. That might mean a lot of walking or a lot of figuring out how to get to all those places. And anyway, I was putting together some resupply boxes to send to myself a little bit further in Oregon. I haven't done that for much of the trail, mainly because I'm too lazy and it is work to like think far enough ahead and like plan how many days and what food, and I just didn't want to do that. And up to this point, it's been fairly easy to just resupply as I go along the way, even if it's out of sometimes small stores that are a little more expensive and have more of a limited supply. Like it's pretty much always been enough, and maybe would have even been enough in Oregon, but most people send boxes in Oregon and Washington. It's just the stores seem to be a little smaller and a little bit more limited. So thought I'd give it a try, but I did not care for it, at least this part of it. Maybe getting there and just picking up my box and not having to go shopping, maybe I'll really like that end of it. But this end of it, like trying to do that much shopping at one time and planning, and I did not enjoy it. So anyway, ended up spending 2 nights in town, and then got back on trail earlier this morning. But it took me a little while to get out of town. It took me 2 rides, one across town and then one the 8 miles down the interstate back to the trail. And I want to tell you a little bit about the 2 rides that I had today. They were both people who were living in their vans. So I got 2 van rides today. The first was basically a homeless couple, and the second was, if we're gonna stereotype, we'd probably call him your stereotypical like hippie stoner. And the reason I am mentioning these particular rides is just to illustrate or point out that I've been helped and offered kindness and hospitality by people from all kinds of walks of life, or at least lots of walks of life on this trail. And I think it's often just far too easy to discount or judge someone that is different than us. And my experiences here make it a little harder to do that. Because I mean, seriously, rich, poor, liberal, conservative, like country people, city people, educated, uneducated, foreign or American, like all kinds of people have been a part of the system that has supported me on this trail. And it's easy to say this, but I think it's harder to really internalize sometimes. But basically, there's no one demographic that is good or right solely. You know, like lots of people are good, even if they have all these differences and about the way they live or what their life experiences are. At least in my experience, there's a common thread of goodness in most people in the world. I would say all people. I would just say that, you know, everyone has the capacity to be good and bad. And it's my personal belief, based on my personal experience, that most people are more good than bad. And I feel encouraged to try and make fewer judgments on any group of people. And I would encourage anyone watching to do the same. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to share because it's increasingly important to me, I think. I have some more miles to do today. I don't know how many. We're in a bit of a dry stretch here, so I think I have to do at least 5 more to get to the next water, and so I will do that. Whoa, good grief. There's so many things to trip on. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, chugging along, get to that next water source. Still pretty smoky. Finally getting a little bit of blue sky up there. Exciting.
Especially being so close to the road.
Oh. Working for your water.
Working for my water.
So I knew I was under 1,000 miles, but I hadn't really done the math. I just hadn't really thought about the numbers. But look at that. 889 to Canada, and then 1779 to Mexico. Pretty amazing.
Good evening, it's day 125. Haven't done a lot of video today because the view has been mostly this, just forest, which is nice, but this is what it's looked like pretty much all day. So anyway, today is a what we're calling a marathon day. It works out to be pretty much exactly 26.2 miles, which is not my longest day, but it's still cool to know that you walk a marathon in a day. So I've probably got 2-ish miles of my marathon left, and then gonna happily set up camp. I've been learning about some new berries that I have never encountered before. I have learned that this is a thimbleberry, and it's edible, so we're gonna pick that guy and have a little snack. Hello, it is day 126. Took a small detour this morning into Fish Lake Resort for breakfast. I had not planned on doing that, but some of the people I was hiking around kept talking about how they might do that, and once you get the idea of breakfast in your head, it's hard to let it go. So ended up hitching in and then had to, it was hard. It was surprisingly hard to get hitches in and out. It's not really far. It's like 2 miles off the trail, but you don't really want to walk those miles if you don't have to. So ended up walking some of it back, and then eventually got a ride. And anyway, it took up a significant portion of the morning, but that's all right. I enjoyed my breakfast and my coffee. So back on trail now, and gonna do as many miles as I can today, despite the detour.
Good morning on day 127. I know it would be more interesting to have a different view and report, but this is it. Very, very smoky. Yeah. There's little baby frogs all over the trail right now. Hey, dude. Look at all the frogs! I'm afraid I'm gonna step on them! And they're all the babies! It's crazy. I don't think I've actually ever seen so many. Frogs on a log. morning. It's day 128, and this is bits of ash that have accumulated on the outside of my tent overnight. I just walked into Mazama Village in Crater Lake National Park, and now it is time for some breakfast.
All right, so I am back on trail after spending my morning in a Mazama, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, village in Crater Lake National Park, and I was able to pick up my resupply box, shower, launder, have breakfast, charge some things. I'm sorry the sun is so bright. I mean, I'm not, it's the sun. There's nothing I can do about it, but sorry, it's creating weird lighting things. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, anyway, got a lot of stuff done this morning. Wish all town stops could be that quick and efficient. That was awesome. Met and talked to some of the first real southbounders that I've encountered on trail. So these are people who started at the US-Canadian border and are hiking all the way down to the Mexican border. So they have to start a little bit later in the season because they start in the Cascades, which are snowy, so they can't start in the springtime. They have to wait until kind of summertime when it's a little more manageable. So that was cool to talk to them about some of their experiences of what's ahead, and yeah, it's neat. Whew, sorry, this is a steep hill. I should have thought about this before I started recording. Anyway, I am soon, within, I don't know, 5 miles or so, I'm going to be at Crater Lake, walking the Rim Trail alternate, which is what most people do. The official PCT is actually closed right now as part of a fire closure. But honestly, even without that closure, I would probably take this alternate because I want to see Crater Lake. So, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'm excited because it has been very, very smoky. But there was a cold front that seemed to move in last night. It was surprisingly chilly when I was hiking this morning. And so that seems to have cleared some of the smoke, which is awesome because that means I'm actually going to get to see this lake. I was thinking that I would maybe be able to kind of see it somewhat through the haze, but it's clear enough today that I think I'm going to have pretty good views of it. So that's exciting. Also, I'm at the top of that hill. Yay. Also, I was awoken last night by what I'm assuming was an owl. If you are a bird or animal call expert and you recognize that sound, let me know. I'd be interested to know what woke me up and initially scared the crap out of me. Afterwards, it was after I was kind of awake and realizing that whatever that was not coming to attack me. It was interesting, and I was able to capture some sound of it, which goes to show how loud it was. Like, because if I could, like, sometimes you can't capture that stuff on the microphone on the phone, but that's how loud this guy was, or this animal. So, yeah, let me know if you recognize it, and let me know what it was that woke me up so much last night. Anyway, I'm gonna focus on walking and get myself to Crater Lake.
Well, it looks like I did not get here early enough to beat the smoke because this is Crater Lake. You can kind of see the water down there, and it's a bummer. I imagine it was clear this morning, but now that it's afternoon, I guess the smoke is settled back in. Because I heard reports that it was clear, and they must have been this morning, but oh well. Well, you can see it just a little better from over here. That's Wizard Island there in the middle that you can make out. Then, you know, with your imagination, you can tell that there's water underneath it and some other cliffs up there behind it that, yeah, requires a little bit of imagination. So I know it's still not perfect, but I do actually think the smoke is clearing some. You can see the water a little better, you can see that island better, you can see, yeah, you can tell that there are cliffs back there and kind of delineate where they start and finish and where the water is. So I had planned to just kind of hike on by because the trail follows the rim for a while, and I may go do that, but I may just generally hang around this area in hopes that the views will come. Now we're getting some views.
Here's a good picture.
Oh, that's true.
All right.
Some interesting things that I learned while reading about Crater Lake is that it is the clearest lake in the world with a world record of 143 feet. There's some other info around here, but something else I thought was interesting, that it is the deepest freshwater lake in the United States, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, it continues to get clearer, so that's good. There's two little fawns. There they are. They still got their spots.
Good morning. It's day 129. I'm up early this morning in hopes of getting a nice view of the sunrise over Crater Lake. I decided to camp nearby it so that I could do that. But there's no camping right on the lake, so I had to walk off a little bit, so I'm on my way back to it now. And hopefully I got up early enough. Worth it.